Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic. What is a TV show that everyone loves but you don't? And why? Grey's Anatomy. I'm not watching 50 seasons of doctors fucking each other and dying. Cheat. Shooting at the hospital. Cheat because of trauma from shooting at the hospital. Another shooting at the hospital. Divorce. Repeat. Hey, sometimes there is a bomb threat instead of a shooting. You forgot the 3 patients on each episode. The one with the weird /funny illness or injury. The one who probably won't live but somehow is saved miraculously. The one who surprisingly dies and everyone is all sad about. Literally. Why does everyone who works at that hospital fucking die? If you want to know, it's because the creator Shonda Rhimes takes it very personally when people leave her shows. If you have the audacity to leave, she will murder your character to show you out. The Walking Dead. Too much drama for a zombie series. Plots stretch on too long. Series stretched out way too long. Edit. If you want a good zombie series, watch Kingdom. Walking Dead is Grey's Anatomy for people who like zombies. Walking Dead. I'm not watching 50 seasons of hobos fucking each other and dying. Edit. I did not expect all of these very kind awards, ESP Platinum. Thank you all. I hope this joke made you laugh and chuckle a bit. Shameless. At first it was okay, but then it just became too much self-destructive bullshit. I saw someone on here describe it as poverty porn. That description really ruined the show for me. It was all I could think about afterwards. They were right. Is that more apparent in the US version? I've only watched the UK version and only until around season 5, but from what I remember, the whole point of it was showing that very poverty-stricken people still have deep thoughts, feelings, emotions, love, hate, concern, worries, generosity, intelligence and often strive for a better life. Although he can be a funny character, Frank is an absolutely terrible person and his children are desperate for a happier, more successful life despite their parents' flaws and surroundings. You root for characters like Fiona and Lip who really worked towards a chance for themselves but struggled with the sacrifices that meant. It showed both the good and bad that come from British working class culture. It's a shame if the US version missed that. The first couple seasons were great, but after Fiona left the storylines of some of the characters were a little too wacky even for Shameless standards. Edit. Okay, I get it, Fiona was on longer than a couple seasons. There were 2 seasons, 2 and 4 or 3 and 5, where Fiona made the exact same mistakes in both seasons. The season in between she showed a ton of growth and then they just reset her character to where she was 20 episodes ago. They did the same thing with most of the characters. Give them a redemptive arc, some growth, a new path, decide the show was better 2 years ago, and reset the character. Once Debbie started becoming the main character was when I dropped off. I hated her whole I want a baby plotline. I skipped her segments at first, but dropped the show once I realized that I wouldn't be able to keep doing that and still know what's happening in the show. It's a real shame, because the first few seasons are some of my favorite TV. While I also hated that plotline, it was very realistic. I was hating every single one of her actions, especially regarding the baby trapping, but at the same time I definitely believed a girl becoming a teenager in a family situation like that would try to find love in wrong and stupid ways, and I had enough sympathy for that to make it palatable. For me the Ian is gay Jesus was when I really wanted to drop off. That was some nutty bullshit. Our Debbie was such a cute little kid. I get that they tried to capture the young teen girl wanting to lose her virginity and even the part about having a baby, because it is a common thing in lower income households. But after she has the baby she becomes the worst and most obnoxious character ever. Frank's storylines just become stupid. Ian with the whole gay Jesus thing It used to be a great show but they tried to be too over the top with the later seasons. I haven't even bothered watching the ones after Fiona left. Anything that involves American teenagers. I just can't handle it. Everything is so overdramatic and cringy. Riverdale, Scream, 13 Reasons Why, Euthopia etc. Edit. Just to be clear, I'm talking about the series called Scream. It's practically an adaptation of the movies. I enjoyed the first couple movies. The series is terrible. Edit 2. The best and most relatable teenage show has got to be the Iptweers. British version. Perfectly captures the UK school experience. The humor is spot on for how most British teenagers are and how they behave. Very absurd humor. The American version is literally the worst thing I've ever set my eyes upon. Euthopia. I love the way you spelled whichever show you're referring to. It's a Mike Tyson produced show about a bunch of teenagers living in a perfect island with no troubles. American 30-year-old teenagers. The Big Bang Theory. I think it is not funny at all. LOL. Came here to say this. When I was doing my master's in molecular bio, I can't tell you how many times people would find that out and immediately say, "Oh, you should watch Big Bang Theory. You'd love it." Spoiler alert, I hate it. Same here. I'm a huge nerd, and everyone expected me to be into that show, but it just feels so plastic. The dialogue and jokes make me cringe so hard. I feel like everyone on Reddit hates the Big Bang Theory. Not just dislikes, but seethingly hates. I think nerdy people hate it because of how poorly it represents them. The real unpopular opinion is thinking it's just okay, I guess. I just could not get into Tiger King. It was just such a weird show. I think it was just super popular at the time it was released, as it's when a lot of COVID lockdowns started. That's a show that came out at precisely the right time. 2 months earlier or later and it wouldn't have been the phenomenon it was. My issue with it was that it tries to create false equivalences. Like Her or Not, Carol Baskin's Sanctuary is a legitimate sanctuary, and has been vetted by other organizations. Joe Exotic's Roadside Zoo was pure exploitation. They are not the same. Not even close. I disliked the fact that everyone focused on Carol Baskin killed her husband and not all of the other proven bad stuff people were doing. The color-coded shirts. They made this big deal about how shady that was for Carol to be using. That is a system deployed by several major charities. It's a great system because it's easy to find someone to ask questions or escalate an issue. The documentary made it out to be some sinister system. They also made a big deal about how Carol used to exploit the animals in her early years. It's like people can't find a new calling or grow and learn from earlier mistakes. There was definitely an interesting documentary to be made about this subject, but Tiger King wasn't it. Tiger King is basically a Joe Exotic documentary. Riverdale. It's just cringy. Riverdale seems to only be watched as a guilty pleasure. Definitely this. I only watched the first 3 seasons. At first, it seemed somewhat interesting, but the story just got more and more ridiculous pretty quickly. I only continued to watch it to see how bad it would get, but eventually gave up. Cocomello. Everyone I know that watches it is so childish and infantile, and I just don't see the appeal. My roommate demands to watch this all she time and she is the worst. No concentration when it's on. Scream sings at the TV. Throws food in the air in apparent excitement, while also shouting no, 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 I don't want to eat my peas. Sometimes she even shits herself while watching it. It's embarrassing. She needs to start paying fucking rent. Edit, award season. I'd like to thank my parents for making me who I am, my husband for always standing by me, and my 3-year-old for being such a top-class asshole, and without who, this comment couldn't have been made. To the awarders, messy. Finally, thank you to the guy who suggested I pimp out my toddler. Broadcasting your creepiness saves us parents a lot of work weeding you bottom feeders out. What the actual fuck, like? Dude, trust me, once you've gotten past row your boat and the itsy bitsy spider, it gets so fucking good. Friends. I'm in my late 2020s, early 30s, and the thought of having that many people constantly and out of your apartment drives me crazy. All they do is hook up with people and bitch about their lives. And Joey is the comic relief. Edit, didn't think I'd have to clarify this, but the late 2020s, early 30s is meant as I'm in the target audience for the show, or am currently in the age range for the show's characters and audience. You're in your late 2020s and your early 30s. Impressive. Haha, that did read pretty weird. Is op unsure of their age? I think they just meant I'm around the age of these characters. I'd say this is a show that'd be only good if you watched it at the time. Many shows /films /music falls into this category. It's hard to explain, but this is genuinely a thing. You're 100% correct. It had a huge cultural significance at the time, and so it became iconic of that time. What are they going to be saying this about in 30 years' time? Hopefully not Big Bang Theory or Kardashians, but it is what it is. Culture shifts. Almost all superhero series right now. Too much relationship drama. I swear. I remember when I started watching Arrow in like 2013 to 14, I loved the show. First season was great, but then after that nobody died. And everyone just cried all the time. Every other enemy became an ally in the next season. Literally just let people remain dead FFS. Same with Flash. Just crying constantly. Edit 1, Formatting. Both Arrow and Flash suffered from the same thing. Season 1 had all the budget and introduced all these cool ideas. Arrow Season 2, in my mind, is the best of the show because they basically made a full-on Green Arrow mythos show. Everything was in it, Deathstroke, Black Canary, Speedy, all the good stuff. But then the budget got cut back and the cinematic quality started dying down from good cinematography to just people being followed by a Steadicam everywhere. Give up the action in exchange for more family drama. The Flash Season 2 I found was still good but tried to reuse the mystery of the first season with Zoom. From there, a lot of characters ended up being added and started overshadowing the Flash. Now the Flash did the same thing of cutting back the budget, so they started focusing on personal drama and then all the enemy costumes just started suffering. It's really too bad because I think Season 1 of The Flash was a perfect superhero TV show. John Cena is pretty funny in Peacemaker. Yes. I don't care for superhero stuff in general, but decided to watch Peacemaker after TSS. Absolutely worth it. Hilarious, heartfelt, fully fleshed out characters, and a killer soundtrack. I still mourn Heroes, damn that writers' strike. Such a good first season and then turned into blah.